Welcome everybody to Cult of Collectors. As usually, joining me is Charlie Cinematic Universe, and this evening we have a special guest, Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace.
Hey,
You may
everybody.
know him from Instagram and YouTube. So, how's it going, everybody? You guys been
Good.
having pretty good day?
Yeah.
So far.
A lot cooler here.
Yeah, it's been a cooler day. Yeah, for me too, a little bit. It's still fairly warm.
It's a decent day over here.
Good.
So,
when it comes to weather.
So, Kenny, what have you? So, what kind of got you into movie collecting? How long have you been movie collecting? You know, kind of the usual 9 yards we talked about. And
I have been collecting movies since the early 80s, from taping them, borrowing my uncle's VCR to make tapes of movies that we've rented. I used to collect, I've had the variants. I've had VHS, laser discs, DVD. Haven't gotten to 4K yet because I don't have a 4K TV or a player yet. But yeah, I've collected everything. I had at one point like about 3,000 VHS tapes at one time, just movies, not even taped ones. And right now I'm bordering on about 4,000 between DVDs and Blu-rays.
Damn,
nice.
that's a good collection. If you got
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
dang,
Yeah,
you know.
one of my when I was telling John I had just moved here in I'm in the Philadelphia area. I moved back to the Philadelphia area
Okay.
in January, and I have just one room with movies, just boxes. That's why on my channel I do what's in the box, because it was like between moving and everything
No.
went in the box. So it's like
Yeah.
the only thing is I don't go out and like buy like day one. I'll
Yeah.
check like Salvation Armies and Goodwills, and especially Hamilton Book. I'm addicted to Hamilton Book. So every
Yeah.
month, they got my credit card.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's a good place to buy stuff. I haven't bought for a while because I get on there and like buy 20 movies and then I get them in and then I'm like, when I was in there picking this stuff out, I really wanted to watch them, but now I've got them and now they're going to be in backlog and it's going to take me a while to go through them, you know?
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So
When do you think you? Oh, go ahead,
Go
John. Sorry.
well, yeah, it's kind of the reason I stopped going to Dollar Tree as well. I was just picking up stuff and 20 at a time or something, and I'm like, seem like interesting movies, but when am I going to get around to watching them? Because there's
Yeah.
usually stuff I'm buying that I want to buy, and the stuff that I have on the front burner that I buy that I want to watch, and so
Well, that's why I've been trying to, utilize my collection now. Look at the ones that I have not watched yet. Like as an example, recent movie I watched was Juno. I saw that one for the first time, and then I watched. Do I have it out here? Did I put it back? I did not put it back, but it was Adventureland.
Oh,
oh
okay.
yeah, I like that movie. It was all right.
Oh, I like Adventureland. I do like Juno as well. I'm going to be watching the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson story, because I've heard good things about it.
That was very
I
good.
just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that was good. It's been a while. I'm not sure if I actually own that on physical, but I'm pretty sure I went to the theater and saw it though. Yeah.
Oh,
That was a
okay.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it
It
from
was
Dollar
good.
Tree.
Yeah, I did share the live with Jesse just in case. I told him that it's okay to be late and stuff like that, that we usually do the stream for 2 hours. So if he decides to, he
Okay.
can.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about anybody else, so that's no problem.
Yeah, I just said if you can, cool. Don't worry about it, even if you're late or whatever. It doesn't matter. We go for 2 hours. He hasn't responded yet, but he could be.
Yeah. But
Whatever.
Kenny, your last out of the box, I was talking to you the other day in Instagram chat about the Marilyn Monroe movies you found, and
Yeah.
those they're quite a find because a lot of them are out of print for the most part.
I personally didn't realize that until you told me. What happened, Charlie, was I had bought from this Facebook seller,
Mhm.
and his father had passed away,
Oh,
and his dad was, he was just selling them to make money for the funeral.
of
you know.
course.
And his dad had like a lot of stuff that he just like watched once,
Yeah.
and didn't even watch. So I bought I got 40 movies for $30 from him
Damn.
and free shipping. And a lot of the ones he had were like Marilyn Monroe ones. And at the time, my mom, when she was here, she loved Marilyn Monroe movies. So
Mhm.
I bought them, specifically for her and me to watch together, because I grew up watching them as a kid.
Oh, of course.
And yeah, and it was also from that, and it wasn't in that box, was I got every season of the X-Files on DVD.
Oh,
And I
damn.
didn't even realize how expensive they were either until after me and John were talking, and it was like, wow, these are like $40 a piece,
Well, when it comes to Marilyn Monroe, I have this in my collection.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
that. I have that one.
Yeah, that's the one that's out of print. It's
This
like
is out of print?
Yeah, it's like $40 or something.
I bought this at Big Lots for $5.
Yeah, well, at least if you look now, I did like after I talked to Kenny, I never had 7-Year Itch. I'd been wanting to get it on Blu-ray, and I did look on eBay, and I found somebody selling a new copy for $20.
Yeah.
And but the others listed under it were like $38. So
Damn.
I don't know if it was just one of those lucky buys. But
Maybe.
yeah, but it was even marked on the copy I bought out of print, and he was selling it for
Interesting.
20. Yeah,
Because I have this one too. Gentlemen prefer blondes.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
that one.
I think all of those are out of print. I think just about all of them.
I must have got lucky then when I got them because
Yeah.
I would say it was around like maybe 2018, maybe 2019 when I bought them.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch. We even had Anchors Away. I have that one.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And Misfits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got Misfits,
Misfits.
and he gave me 2 copies of Niagara.
Yeah, I think I have that one too, actually.
And I had just given it to my friend because I had got an extra one of them,
And we only have one Marilyn Monroe movie on 4K, and that's Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had got that one too. I had just bought that because I was wondering. I'm not a big collector of Criterion Collection,
I'm not either.
and I don't understand paying like $50 for a movie just because it has like special features on it when I can get it at Hamilton Book for $6.
Packaging too, because some of them, like here, I'll grab one behind me that I have. Just as an example, like this one right here is like maybe $40.
Oh,
And this is the 4K, and then it has like a little poster that goes with it, as well as like a little digi booklet, and then you got both the 4K and the Blu-ray.
Well, you have to kind of get them. You got a lot of times you got to watch Amazon, and sometimes usually most of the stuff I buy is 20, and also the sale that just went on back in July from.
I missed out on Thelma and
so.
Louise.
Well, I went. Actually, I kind of forgot about Thelma and Louise. Oh, I already own that. Never mind. I'd bought that previously, but yeah, I went there like last week. I hadn't went to Barnes and Noble the whole month of July. So there's something I wanted to check out the price on, and I ended up picking it up. I wasn't sure about getting this one. It was that that the Renowned Westerns.
Oh, okay.
And I already have this stuff on Blu-ray on Indicator.
Yeah,
I have another set with Randolph Scott movies on Blu-ray that has these movies on as well. But this was 4K, and kind of the reason I bought it. When I was in the store, I ran into another guy who had he had one of those like shopping baskets, and he had it filled to the top of Criterion movies behind it. Wow. And I saw I asked him, do you already have this? And he's like, yeah. And I said, so what'd you think about it? He said, it's spectacular, the transfers on it. But the transfers were great on the Indicator too. And I don't know if they're much better. And after watching the first movie, I don't know if it was.
John, did you end up getting like Rio Bravo or the East of Eden?
I got East of Eden. I didn't get Rio Bravo. I have Rio Bravo on Blu-ray, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how much better some of those movies will actually be.
Some I've
Yeah.
noticed when it comes to Blu-rays, depending on the
will
title.
be, but it will be. You know, the audio's going to be better and it'll be a little crisper. But I don't know. I just don't want to get in that game replacing everything in 4K. You know, 'Cause I
Yeah,
got
of
so much
course.
in Blu-ray. You know.
Yeah, the only one that I was really interested in that I seen was I'm a big Bogart fan. So
Okay.
it was In a Lonely Place. That was the only one, and I think that's the only Criterion. Am I right of Bogart? I might be wrong.
I'm not sure on
No,
that one.
I don't think so. There's
Oh,
more. No,
okay.
there's
Well, that was
like
the one that I was like really interested in because I have like a lot of them on like DVD and Blu-ray. So it's
Yeah.
not that, you know.
no.
No.
I should be able to name the ones, but I have a few. I'm pretty sure the Treasure of Sierra Madre is on.
Oh, is it
Criterion. I
really?
might be
Okay.
wrong about that. I have it definitely on Blu-ray, but I'm not sure about if it's on if it's
Well, when
on,
it comes to
Criterion
Criterion,
or not.
though, I have the Bruce Lee set that they had put out. I want to say a couple years ago now.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and now they got the 4K, pack that is out and stuff like that. And then, of course, they're releasing Enter the Dragon on 4K. It's a 100th anniversary edition with Warner Brothers.
Hmm.
Now that guy I ran into, I was talking to him about that, and I was like, "Yeah, I have this, but I don't really think I want to." I mean, I have the Bruce Lee on Criterion,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "I don't know if I want to, upgrade." And he told me that that 4K set they put out was a mess. He said there was something wrong with the disc, and he said it was. So I've been a good thing not to get it. So at this time,
yeah, there's a guy that I follow on it's not Instagram, because I mean he's on there, but I mainly knew him from YouTube originally. His name is Heath. He calls his channel Euphoria Pictures, and he got the set, and then I told him, I said, well, now you got to give us a review.
Yeah, he's the guy that has the his movie place in his garden or something like that.
Yeah, his own little movie building in his backyard,
that's pretty
basically.
sharp. Yeah, he's a cool follow.
Oh yeah, a really nice guy, and it's funny because I know he's not as active with my page anymore, but when I first got started and he was starting, he was very active on my page, like saying, hey, love the content, this and that or whatnot, and I just noticed that whenever I post now, he hasn't really paid attention.
Oh wow, that's a shame.
Well, I haven't really posted much as it is, so it's not surprising, honestly, so I'm trying to get him to the rhythm. I know John was going to help me make a new intro, but he's been, busy with other stuff. So
yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm still gonna do it. So.
Oh no, I believe you. I just you have your own stuff. So
we had that tornado. I did tell you about that. It was really this straight line wind. It was like we don't know what it was. It was kind of a tornado or something. It was bad.
Yeah.
It rolled through here and did a lot of damage on the property, tree damage, and some building. Nothing to our house except for siding damage and stuff like that. Vehicle damage. It tore my truck all to hell. Just beat it to death. It beat it to death. And about $4,000 worth of damage. So had insurance on it, but the problem is where it was an accident. Usually in an accident, the person who you're in an accident with, their insurance pays the deductible if it's their fault. But in this case, where it's a natural disaster, they don't pay the deductible. So it was like a $1,200 deductible. So I only got like $2,900.
Damn.
And it's like $4,000 damage. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, we don't cover tornadoes.
Yeah. But that's why I haven't been that's why I haven't made any videos on YouTube. I've got to make one here soon. I'm going to make a Criterion Haul videos, and I haven't.
The next video I'm gonna do is actually two. I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna do one that's a dedication to Paul Rubens, like the life and career of him, and then I'm gonna do a review of this after watching it and see if it was worth the transfer kind of deal or not. This is the new pickup that I got.
Oh, okay.
It's nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Did they make a steelbook of that as well?
They did, and it's funny because I had to go to Target because I was going to go to Best Buy because it was like a couple bucks cheaper. And all of a sudden, the regular slipcover one sold out, not there, no nothing, but the Steelbook was. And the Steelbook wasn't at Target. And I'm like, but I have the Steelbook of the Blu-ray. Do I really need to get the same freaking thing again? No, because it's the same exact Steelbook. So I was like, I'll just get the, slipcover. And then I asked them if they still did price matching, and they did. So instead of $24.99, it was $22.99.
Oh, good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think I was watching Tim's channel, Tim's Talkies.
Oh, yeah. We've had him on before.
Oh, okay. And he said that the Steelbook was the same as the 4K copy, and that's why he decided to get the 4K, because he already had, like you said, the Blu-ray of the Steelbook.
Yeah, I'll show it. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I had that Steelbook as well, Charlie. So, but
Yep.
oh, I was going to say, Scottish Geek Guy, we saw you earlier. I put your thing up. Good.
Right
How's it
there.
Oh,
going?
yeah. That's nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same exact thing. And it's funny because this one says Blu-ray digital, and I think the Steelbook is Blu-ray digital, so you don't even get like a Blu-ray with it at all. So I think it's kind of good that it's like this, that I have it, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
But same exact thing.
So so have you been finding a lot of good buys at Dollar Tree lately, or like I haven't been going lately? The reason why I quit going in my area, for some reason, it was hard to find Blu-rays. Like I don't know if they had
Very
people
small.
coming in and pre-buying stuff out, because people make those videos where they get like behind the scenes access to the stuff, and like behind the they'll have a manager that lets them go in the back and go through stuff, and apparently that was going on around my area because like I don't know if people were making videos, but people were buying all the Blu-rays out.
I've never seen any videos of people go behind the scenes. I know the store manager next to me, because the big lots that I worked at was right next door to it, so I got to know her pretty well, and she'll let me know if stuff's on sale or whatever it may be, and I'm sure she would let me see in the back too if I really wanted to. So, but
yeah,
I've gotten some good finds though.
But have you found anything, Kenny, lately? I
No, they said, I was watching another YouTuber, and he said August 4th it'll probably be the next drop for Dollar
August 4th.
Yeah,
Okay.
August 4th. So, yeah, it's kind of hard because I don't mind picking up like the DVDs or anything like that, but a lot of them, if you watch, they're on Tubi.
Mm.
And it's like and all of them, when you're going to the Dollar Tree, are blind buys.
Yeah,
basically. So it's just like, unless you really, really, really want to see something. So
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Tubi, because somebody on TikTok happened to come into my live out of nowhere and told me that him and his friends made a movie, and it's free on Tubi, of course. It's called Teenage Badass. Told him I'll watch it tonight and stuff, and then I'll make like a little video on TikTok and I'll tag him to it. But I told him I would watch it tonight. That way I can give him a little honest review. But when I watched the trailer, it actually looked pretty funny, because it's like a story about a rock band, trying to be serious, and the ginger in the movie becomes their new drummer, and that ginger happens to be the guy that asked me to watch it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. He said, I'm kind of
That's
curious to know what you think of it. And I'm like, I'll check it out.
Sounds
That'll
interesting.
be interesting. I'll put that on my to-do list to watch.
Yeah, if you've got Tubi,
Well-
Teenage Badass.
I think that's the future of movie making, is it'll go pretty solid in the indie direction, because this accessibility that people have now, the technology to make movies, that's what held people back some in the past. It was just simply people couldn't afford to, you rent cameras, film cameras, and have the working knowledge to use the cameras, and to, all what went into it. Now you can just, it's all on YouTube how to do everything digitally, anything that revolves around a digital camera.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, you can do everything on the phone. You can make a whole movie on the phone. It's probably what these guys have done. And it's just crazy with the
Smart.
technology. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's going in the same, the film industry is going the same direction as the music industry did 20 years ago. Well, really, the digital music scene started in the 80s. Really, people started recording digitally, but that's, so by the 2000s, everybody was starting to have their own studios, and the stuff they were putting out from just their living rooms was sounding great.
Well, no, yeah, and then not only that, but I mean, now you don't even have to record someone drumming anymore. You just literally buy the software that's a drum program, and then
Right.
set it up how you want it to drum.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's how the Dave Grohl recorded that 666
Oh,
album.
Studio 666.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did all that during quarantine.
I think it might have been, yeah. They might have made the movie right before they went on lockdown.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Because I know that
remember him-
Taylor Hawkins barely passed away, like what, last year, I think it was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's about a year and a half, I think now, actually, a year and a half.
yeah. Sad.
Didn't he play drums on the very first Foo Fighters album before?
Oh, he was the
kinda
drummer
where
from
they
the
did-
beginning.
Dave Grohl? No, I'm talking
Oh.
about that one. Yeah, I'm talking about for the actual album.
I misheard what you meant, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
He has his own
was-
home studio that I know, and he's constantly writing. So, like, him and Taylor have a very similar drumming style. So, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, Dave Grohl did the drumming and then showed it to Taylor, and Taylor just learned the basic part of it and then added his own fills.
Yeah, well, I may be wrong about that. It seemed like I heard that a long time ago.
Could be true.
And yeah, I love their first two albums. Their first few albums were good. Then they kind of went mainstream a little bit too.
Well, all
mainstream
bands
like
end up going mainstream at some point if they get enough recognition.
Yeah, and then they went off the COVID retardation narrative. So it's like the rock against drugs. Boy, those bands sucked.
It's just weird because, like, when it comes to musicians, artists, and stuff like that, when people say, "Oh, you sold out," and it's like, if you mean I am actually making a career out of my music, then yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were big. I mean, coming from Nirvana, he wasn't going to have any trouble, I don't think, getting big. But they just happened to be really good on top of.
Well, people just liked them because they just played. Like, there was no real, music theory behind it. It was just literally whatever I come up with, play along with it.
No, it's good rock and roll. It's heavy rock and roll. I mean, I didn't say they'd sell out. I don't care about that because I don't care if. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to get rich.
But Dave Grohl even said himself he doesn't read music. He could not read music for shit, is what he said. Still can't.
Yeah, a lot of people can't though.
That's like I like when people say about Nickelback. They don't like Nickelback, and I'm thinking to myself, well, you have to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work today, and this dude's in $1 million house.
How's it going?
Hello.
Siskiyou. I don't know how you pronounce your name. Siskiyou.
I've noticed. Kenny, are we echoing the mirror?
What is it now?
I don't know if it's our volume or what, but I hear like you and me, and I'm guessing it's Kenny, like as a delay in some way.
Really? Can you hear me now?
Are you?
No, we can hear you fine. I just noticed that we sound loud on your end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we're all right. I do hear that echo a little bit. Are you using your speaker for your monitor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably what I was hearing then.
Don't worry about it. It's not bothering me. I don't know if it's bothering you.
Okay.
No.
It's not bothering me. I was just noticing it is all.
I'm not hearing it all the time because actually StreamYard has like an echo canceling, and so it works to some degree. Then sometimes it won't pick it up. So,
well, I think Kenny turned it down or something because now I don't really hear it.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's fine.
I wonder where Jody is. I'm surprised. I thought he'd be in by now.
Yeah. any of you guys watching, if you guys have any questions, just ask us. We willing to talk about anything you guys want us to talk about.
Oh
Leave us
yeah.
a question. Yeah. I was going to ask if Scottish Geek Guy's still listening. I said I was going to ask him if he wants to be on the channel. I caught one of your reviews this afternoon of Oppenheimer. I started watching it. I hadn't watched all of it. I'm gonna finish it up later. I had to get set up for this, but we'll start watching him. He's got a pretty good. Seems like he's got a pretty good little channel, YouTube channel.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
thought about
Yeah,
asking
I
him.
still haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Long though, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. That don't bother me so much. It was paced good enough. It didn't really feel like 3 hours. It felt like 2.5 though. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. No, I don't mind that so much because especially with a good bioptic like that, you know. But
Mhm.
it was fun. Like I actually bought this. This is another good. This was another good movie that came out. I think in 89, 88, 89. It's
Mhm.
called Fat Man and Little Boy.
That is good.
I'm not
Got Paul
familiar with
Newman.
that.
It's got Paul Newman. It's about the making of the atomic bomb. It's the same subject matter, just not focusing on the Oppenheimer's about Oppenheimer, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a good movie. With it actually it has John Cusack in it as well. I didn't show the cover good enough.
Funny
Yeah,
you
I
say
think-
John Cusack.
I think it's Laura Dern. Somebody says Laura Dern's first movie. I don't know if that's true or not.
This is John Cusack and Nicolas Cage and Vanessa Hudgens called The Frozen Ground.
Nice.
Nice.
I haven't watched it yet, so that's what I need to watch too.
He hasn't done a whole lot here recently.
I
Seemed
think
like I seen
Nicolas
him.
Cage just loves to work, and that's why he just
Oh.
does whatever he wants to do, because he has no shame in doing like a really low budget movie or even a really high budget or in between. He just wants to work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about Nick Cage. I was talking
Yeah.
about what's his name there?
Who are you talking about?
John Cusack.
John Cusack. Yeah.
Oh.
Excuse me. I went blank.
He did a
Cusack,
really
yeah.
good. Cusack did a really good movie, like probably about 5 years ago. Love and Mercy.
Oh, I've heard of
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's
That's right.
really good. That really
Yes.
totally blew me away.
I'll have to check that one
I
out.
forgot it. I forgot about it. Yeah, it's Brian Wilson. The story. It's Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
okay.
Elizabeth, I think John, isn't it Elizabeth Banks that plays his wife in it?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
It's actually what's his
It's based
name?
on the book, right?
Dano.
Paul Dano.
What's his Paul Dano? Yeah, it's Paul Dano and John Cusack and Banks. Yeah, but Paul Dano plays like young Brian Wilson. It's kind of takes place the younger years takes place during the making of like Pet Sounds and all the like what happens to him at the younger. It causes his like mental breakdown and kind of that era. Then
father.
And then John Cusack plays him in like the 80s, like late 70s, early 80s, whenever he's kind of under the control of that doctor. He's basically got him on a bunch of
LSD.
pharmaceutical drugs,
Yeah.
keeping him, and just kind of leading him around. And he's really just in like but Elizabeth Banks comes in as like plays Melinda Wilson, who kind of saved him from that doctor in a way. That's how the movie portrays it. I don't know if that's exactly what happens in real life. I haven't ever read that part of his actual book about it, but yeah, she kind of comes in and kind of saves him from that doctor and gets him away from him. And
Yeah, that was the best
So
John Cusack.
it's an interesting movie. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, they both play like very good versions of Brian Wilson too.
Kenny, did you ever get to see the stream that we did with Diane Franklin?
No, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
I
had one with
watched
Diane Franklin, the lady who played Monique in Better Off Dead, the French girl.
Oh, I love her. I follow her on Instagram. She's really great.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't give John and Jody a freaking follow, but she gave me one. Yeah.
I don't know. She might have followed me. I don't know afterwards because I think I sent a message saying I'd finally watched First American Virgin or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I bought her book too, which is not really a book; it's like a pamphlet. I'll grab it here in a second and I'll show you. You guys go ahead and talk.
Yeah, the most
Okay.
famous follow I got was the girl that played Janine. I was in love with her on Doogie.
Janine.
Yeah, Janine on she was Vinny's girlfriend on Doogie Howser MD.
Oh,
Yeah, Lucy Boyer.
yeah. Didn't
Yeah.
she was also on the show that
Twin
had
Peaks.
like a Down syndrome actor too, right?
No, you're thinking of Kelly Williams. That was
Like Life Goes
Yeah.
On or something like
Life
that.
Goes On. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
on Twin Peaks, is what he.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
If it's that's the kind of the nerdy her friend.
Huh.
That's who you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy Boyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was the receptionist on Twin Peaks. You remember?
It's been a while since I've seen Twin Peaks, so I couldn't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, here's the book.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, neat.
You should post a picture of that and tag her.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a picture of her in here or not the girl you're talking about, so everybody knows. But yeah, that's what's funny about the movie. When I was watching Last American Virgin, I was like he's in love with Don Franklin's character, and the guy's in love with her, and she tries to pawn him off onto her friend, and I'm like, hell, her friend's really cute. I would be all over her because she was like kind of a horn dog and like kind of a geek, a cute geek horn dog, and I was like, yeah, I'd been all over that. She was being a freak, she was acting like a freak. I've been like, fuck, I would,
That's funny.
But maybe I'm into some geeky girls too. But I mean,
I like nerdy girls.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
I know that they were kind of frowned upon for the longest time. Like when you watch the movie She's All That with, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel Lee Cook. I mean, she played a nerdy girl, and then you clean her up, and she looks like a hot girl, and it's like, oh, come on, really? That's just messed up.
Yeah, wasn't that the same premise of Sydney White with what's the poor girl, Amanda Bynes?
Oh yeah,
where it was like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm shaking my camera all over the place.
Oh, there was also that movie called Not Another Teen Movie that kind of played on that.
Yeah.
The nerdy girl.
Yeah.
That movie was hilarious, though. I do like that movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen it since it came out on video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
So when it was like brand new, I actually had watched it quite frequently because I thought it was that funny.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, it was just making fun of all the, teen movies, like Varsity Blues, I think American Pie was a part of it, and then She's All That, and a bunch of stuff, even Breakfast Club. They made fun of Breakfast Club because they had the principal guy come in for a scene as a cameo, and he goes, wait, I'm confused. And he goes, shut your hole, Wang Chung, Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah. And then Chris Evans, right? That plays Captain America?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was in that movie. And it's like, when you watch Captain America in the movies that he does now, you're like, huh, you went from really raunchy comedies to superhero badass.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I can't get over I love Robert Downey Jr. and I can't see the guy that was in Chances Are and Heart and Souls as Iron Man.
Or even Weird Science.
Yeah. Or back to school.
Or Air America with him and Mel Gibson.
Oh wow, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, he's an Oppenheimer too.
Yeah.
He's an Oppenheimer as well. Yeah.
Oh, he is an Oppenheimer too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really he's an Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and he's possibly he could, I mean, if it gets nominated for Academy Award because of their stupid new rules, all their woke rules they've got going on now. So if it even gets nominated,
the system's rigged.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
But
don't
he's
know how.
definitely
I don't
he had
know
the
how
best performance
Nolan.
in the movie. Yeah, one of the best.
I don't know how
yeah.
Nolan didn't get an Academy Award for Dark Knight. I don't understand that.
Oh, for like Heath Ledger.
Yes, it's just
Yeah,
politics, man. Yeah.
It is. It really is. Like a movie that actually got pretty popular and it did have a short theater run. Was Mel Gibson's newest movie with Caviezel. Yeah, Jim
Caviezel.
Caviezel. That Sound of Freedom movie.
Yeah, it played around here in Philadelphia. Yeah.
I haven't
Nice.
seen it yet.
I haven't watched it yet, but my mom, my son, and my sister and a group of like other family went to go see it, and they said it's a good movie, but it's a pretty sad, hard movie. What?
I'm gonna ride my bike around a bit. Is that right?
You're gonna probably pop your tire. I'd rather you not.
Okay, then I'm gonna do a skateboard. I feel like-
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, that movie got a lot of bad press for it, even though it was trying to push like a message that needs to be heard, a relevant message these days.
Mhm.
But it's supposed to be pretty good. It's what's funny about that movie was it was made by Fox. A lot of people kept saying, "Well, it's made by Angel." It's this religious movie, but it actually wasn't. It was bought by Angel from Fox.
The rights were bought by them, yes, eventually.
And but Fox made it, and Disney sold it to them for like nothing. They sold it to them, and then it's done better than any Disney movie's done all summer, except for like Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians 3 is like their best one of the year for sure.
Yeah.
And then Sound of Freedom, a lot of studios just did not want to touch that, to give it a good release. Because even like Hulu, Netflix, they were like, no, we don't want to give it a platform. It's like, you guys air dirtier shit than what we're trying to show the world, which is factual stuff. But when it comes to fantasy, you're like, oh, no worries, go ahead. But when it comes to like stuff that's real, like Oppenheimer could have been a movie that could have been banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like their logical reasoning is so fucked up.
Yeah, I don't understand how these movies, like especially from Netflix, you look on that queue and it's like I don't even know half of these movies that are on here, like the made for Netflix movies and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just like I can't believe they're giving. Did you guys see the one with The Rock and Daredevil? What the hell is his name? Ryan Reynolds. Red Notice.
Oh, Gal
With the
Gadot
egg?
too.
Yeah, they're making a second one, and I'm like, that movie stunk.
What
know?
Sure
what
it
was
did.
that called? What was it called again? I think I've seen that.
I want to say I think I'm
Red
wrong.
Notice, I think you just said it.
Yeah.
Was it on Netflix? I was thinking about another movie. It's got those same people in it that they made. Was that? What was
It's-
that? It was in. I don't
Same
know.
movie.
Yeah, it's like you said, Charlie, copy and paste.
Yeah, basically. Copy and paste.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like with like all of Sandler's movies too. They're like the same. I mean, it's kind of.
Well, when you watch like older Disney movies too, like the old animation, like Jungle Book and then like Aristocats or anything else, you'll notice that a lot of the choreography between animation is the same.
Yeah, I think the earlier ones they used some of the backgrounds for that too.
Yeah, they just kind of layered it basically.
Yeah, but I think Disney has like a lot of problems.
They do.
They have so many problems.
They do, and it's sad because Bob Iger, and he's become a prick now. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure at one point, he was like someone that was actually for the good guys and stuff like that, of writers and directors and actors and stuff like that. But now he's just become an asshole to people because the people that are doing like the strikes and stuff like that, they're saying that they're being unreasonable, but when the asshole's taking a private jet to meetings.
Yeah.
And you're calling them unreasonable.
What got me was I read it was on Hollywood Reporter about Mandy Moore with the Netflix royalties from This Is Us.
Oh, huh?
For 1 quarter, she got a check for 14 cents.
Yeah, no. Even Snoop Dogg about the music industry, same thing. He's like, what the hell is going on? We rely on the physical media stuff because You know, that's sales. Sales show how much we make.
Yeah. And
Streaming is streaming. I could pay one low fee of like maybe $4.99 a month or whatever, and they barely get like maybe a penny to their name.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole streaming model's kind of screwed. Well, for one, there's too many of them,
Yeah.
and
I agree.
Yeah, because when you were paying like when I was in South Jersey, I was paying almost $200 a month for Comcast. Okay, and that was
Yeah.
no streaming services. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's like, and then you're like, oh, I'll cut the cord. Well, then you're going to get Paramount. Then you're going to get Netflix. Then you're going. So it's like you get all these streaming services, and they kind of overlap sometimes, like on their movies, and then you're paying close to like $170 a month. You know, and you have all these streaming services that you don't even watch the movies because you're watching physical media.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was watching that I think it's Muscles and Mayhem and Muscles or something like it. It was the American Gladiators documentary on Netflix.
Yes, that was very interesting.
Yeah, and they were talking. It was produced by the Samuel Goldwyn Company, and like they were not making a lot of money. They started merchandising the show, and like the Gladiators weren't getting any of the residuals for the toys and stuff they were selling.
Yeah.
And so they basically, I think before like the 4th season, they were like, hey, we're gonna basically try to have a mini protest, like the four main ones that have been there since the very beginning, like I can't Nitro and
Gemini, Laser.
Gemini, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're basically
Laser.
like, we're not coming to work unless you renegotiate our contract.
Yeah.
And Samuel Goldwyn, he was like, if you don't come to work, you're fired. He said his motto was like, I don't negotiate, for anything. I don't do any negotiations for nothing. I don't renegotiate. I don't pay more money, whatever. So they were just like, they all just were fired.
Yeah, I remember. I remember, and you seen it too, John. The first 2 seasons, they didn't even have any medical.
Yeah.
I mean, the one guy broke Malibu. The first guy who was only in the first season, he broke his nose, and there was a contestant that the girl Lace had said that she's still having problems with her leg that she broke on it to this day, and that's like over 27 years later.
Yeah, I think it was just the first season, and then the second season it was actually halfway through the first season whenever they kind of hired a different director and a kind of a different production company to kind of and change things up. They weren't doing the stunts right. The different games they were playing just weren't set up correctly. Yeah, and so they finally got it right. But man, when they started, I'd forgot about that when I was a kid. I forgot about them doing that live tour and all that stuff. It came back to me. I remember those commercials running, but them doing a live tour, they were doing like 50 weeks or something. I mean, doing that day in and day out.
Yeah, I remember it came here in Philly at the Spectrum. The Spectrum was here. I remember how big that was too. Yeah.
I watched the show. I used to like watching. I don't think I was a regular watcher, but I would flip over there and watch it occasionally. But I always enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, we were regular watchers because we used to place bets on it. We're talking about American Gladiators.
Yeah. I could still hear you guys when I was watching.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was like really huge.
Oh yeah, no, I used to watch it all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
I think I had a crush on like one of the female gladiators. I think it was like the woman named Ice or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, she was a lesbian too.
Well, who cares? Not like anything was going to come out of that anyway.
Yeah.
No, I know. But she was. There's like a couple of them. One of the other girls was too. But yes. Yeah, there's like a good story in that documentary where like 3 of the guys were placing bet. That's when they were doing their live tour. They were doing like the American live tour, and 3 of the guys were placing. They were like in a hotel lobby. No, there was a girl contestant that was really hot, and these three guys were placing bets and about who was going to sleep, hook up with her. They were and they all tried to hook up with her, and like like none, they all struck out. They were all like, "Hey, why don't you meet us for drinks at this bar?" And she never showed up. Well, the next morning they're all in the lobby, and she said, like, I waited to make sure they were all in the lobby, and she hooked up with that girl like Ice did.
Wow.
She was like, "Yeah, I made sure that they see me with her."
I wonder where the hell Jody is. I mean, did you give him a message?
Well, I mean, he got the link like you do through the main.
Oh, I know. I'm
group-
just
our-
wondering
our
if
group
maybe
chat.
he lost attention span or something.
Oh, I haven't given him a message here lately, so we'll see.
Because he said he wasn't going to be that late, and it's been close to an hour.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, nobody's left me a message. Let's see. We can.
Damn you, Jody. Apparently, my son was nice and used his money that was originally first, like to and from school if he wanted to grab a snack or something like that or whatever it may be. He used it to get pizza for tonight.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, I told him that I was like, I thought that was for school, and he said, I can always earn it back. And I'm like, still though. Yeah, it is what it is.
Pizza's always a good idea.
No, yeah. Excuse me. I love pizza.
Oh,
Pizza is
so,
my favorite food.
Yeah. What's your
Like
favorite
if I could have
topping?
pizza and know that I can't die from it, I would definitely have it every day.
That's exactly right.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of food that I'd
What were
be
you
like
getting ready
that
to
too.
ask?
Huh?
Yeah, I like pizza too. I don't really need to
yeah.
have it, but I do. I eat it at least once or twice a week.
Huh.
Oh, I tell you what I did with the pizza. I get these sometimes I like frozen pizzas. So I get these what are they called? Jack's pizzas. I don't know if I don't know if Kroger sells those. I don't know what or Walmart sells them, but they're Jack's pizzas. They're kind of like Tombstone, but they're a little slightly thinner crust. They're good though. They have good cheese on them, and they're a pretty good pizza. Well,
I'll have to look.
I pulled one out to make it the other day, and I was going to put it in the oven. So I noticed on the pack it said this is good on a grill. It says it's so I fixed it on a grill, and it was real good. It was like super crisp, and it blackened some of the edges, and it was
Nice.
excellent. Yeah,
That's
really
really
good.
I like to make my own pizza. I buy the pizza. I'll buy the pizza crust at Walmart, and then I kind of know what I'm putting on in the toppings and stuff like
True.
that. So,
That way you can control like your like what's the quantity of what you would want on there, like when it comes to pepperoni or peppers
Yeah.
or something like that.
because my favorite topping on it is meatballs and onions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's like really good, and you can't crumble up the meatballs. You have to slice them. So,
Nice. Yeah, I'm more standard pepperoni.
yeah. Oh, I love that too. But that's like my go-to. I always keep sliced onions in the fridge, so
Oh, okay.
I'll do that. Like if I have an omelet or something, I'll just crumble up and make a ham and onion.
That's
bed,
cool.
So
Yeah, me. When it comes to like say buying frozen pizzas, I don't mind the DiGiorno pizzas. Those I don't mind.
yeah,
I actually do enjoy them. I've had their croissant version of a pizza that they do.
yeah. That's not good. The
It was
croissant
okay.
one-
It could have been better. It defeated the purpose, in my opinion.
Does Philadelphia have their own style of pizza? Because I've never heard of
thin crust,
this
thin,
thin crust.
yeah, thin, and you twirl it and you eat it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
Yeah.
people do reviews for pizzas out in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the thin crust here. Although Walmart has it's not a deep dish, but it's like a deep rising pizza. a thicker kind of dough
Yeah.
on it, and that's really good too. And I just kind of like if I buy that because I have a couple of them in my freezer. If I don't, if because dough's hard to believe it or not, around here pizza crust is very hard to find. You know,
John, did you
So-
tell Jody that I was worried? Because it just
Yeah.
said that you said I was worried.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
Yeah,
what? Not worried.
that. I put
Wanted
it
to
in the
know where the hell he was.
I put it in the group chat so you'd see it. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
that's a dirty move. No.
I don't really. We don't have any particular, style of pizza around here, but we do have we have a restaurant called it's called Serve Pizza, and it's got some other chains. There's I think it's part of a larger chain, but in different areas. It's called like Royal Pizza, but it's kind of like a Chicago style pizza, but thinner, like a thin crust Chicago style pizza.
Okay.
It's cut into Chicago's. I think considered cut into squares. I think it might be thick crust and cut into squares. This Chicago style, or Detroit style. Excuse me, Detroit style, and but it's really good. That's the only like really anything that we have around here that's we could call ours. But other than that, we got a little bit of everything.
you're the guys, John. You're the guys to put chili on spaghetti, right?
That's Cincinnati.
Oh, that's Cincinnati. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, when you watch Food Network, if you watch those like world tours, like food tours and stuff like that, yeah,
Like diners, drive-ins, and dives kind of stuff.
exactly, yeah, sort of like that. And it's like there was like one place that put chili on top of spaghetti, and I was like, "What is that?"
Okay, we got to go to Cincinnati. Chili on spaghetti.
Yeah, it's gold. Do you have do you guys have Gold Star chili out there? Do you have Gold Star?
No, we don't have that here.
I don't have that here.
It must just be in this area because see, you have Gold Star and you have Skyline. Now, and people in Cincinnati, they'll fight over which one's better, Skyline or Gold Star. I like Gold Star better. Maybe it's because I grew up with it, but Skyline's like kind of the official Cincinnati chili. It's the official big brand. And you go to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati area, and they're everywhere. They're on every side, both sides of the street.
Oh wow!
And it's good. Like Gold Star, they're both good, but it's just like they call it three-way. It's basically chili. You can get it. The three-way is just chili cheese. It's like shredded cheddar cheese on top of chili on top of spaghetti.
Damn.
Or you can get like a 4 or 5-way, which will have like onions and other condiments on it, other vegetables or something. And they'll have like a cheese coney, which is like their chili on a hot dog bun, which is like a chili cheese dog essentially.
Oh, that's great.
This is the fastest this is the fastest that Alive has killed my battery. No joke.
Really?
Because normally whenever we go live, the battery drains pretty slowly and stuff. But for some odd reason, this show, I'm down to 18%.
Well,
shit. And I was trying to make it an hour and a half and stuff like that because of my, meeting.
Yeah.
That I have to do because that's required.
Well, I guess Jody's going to abandon this. So that's all right. Might took him too long with his.
Probably he didn't expect it to take as long as it did. So.
Well, you want to. I guess you want to go through. I'm gonna go through some of the stuff I picked up. If you don't mind.
Go for it.
Start,
because
we'll start kind of We'll just start wrapping it down unless Jody kicks in here in a minute. So we'll just start kind of slow down, do another 20 minutes or so if it's all right with you guys. Just do a short one tonight and.
Sure.
Yeah. Like I said, this is my new pickup. So.
I picked this up. I've talked about Chris Gore before. He's he's a film reviewer, and he started Film Threat, kind of an indie film magazine in the 80s, which got picked up by Larry Flint's publication that put it out in a larger, in a larger mass in the 90s, I believe what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But he eventually would go on to be on Attack of the Show. If you guys remember that
Oh yeah, G4.
Attack, yeah. On do you remember Olivia Munn Attack of the Show?
Oh, yes.
The game show, the gaming channel, the show on the gaming channel.
Yeah.
Well, he just recently made a documentary called Attack of the Doc, and I
Huh.
picked this up.
Nice.
You have to buy it through their website.
Oh,
but
kind of like
it's
A24 when they do their 4Ks.
Yeah, so, but it was really good, and you might be able to watch it on. I watched it on some streaming service. I don't know if it was. I'm pretty sure I just watched it on, probably on Amazon Prime, more than likely. That's what I think. Yeah,
Interesting.
so that's really good. The only problem was I've actually got to replace the case on it because look at that.
Oh, dang.
It came like that, but the disc is fine. But the front.
My
is messed up
Explorers
on it.
movie was like that when I got it when it first came out because I did the pre-order, and let me see.
I could be an ass and be like, "Will you guys replace this or whatever?" But I'm like, I got the
I know,
resources to replace it.
Same here. Yeah, because when I'm gonna take it out. It was the slip cover was hella dented and everything in this corner part,
Yeah.
And then I had to look at the, casing, and luckily the casing was fine, and the discs were fine. It was just the slip cover was all mangled. It made me think the worst.
Yeah, it sucks when you get those. It don't happen too much, but it was just packed in a regular mailer package. It wasn't a hard cover, hard and kind of like hard box or anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have a whole show about the Amazon packing system.
Oh, yeah. Amazon, how about be smart about it and give us things that fit in them properly?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that looks
on the web. Nice.
Yeah, this is a film noir. I haven't watched it yet. It looks good though. Got Vincent Price in it of notoriety. So that's the only person of notoriety, so it should be pretty interesting. Yeah. But
I guess Jody's not going to be able to come.
Did he send a message?
No, I'm just guessing he's not.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one.
I can't tell what that one is.
War of the Worlds.
Oh, War of the Worlds. Okay.
Which I had the Criterion. It came out this year or two ago, and I thought, well, I'm gonna give this a chance, and it does look really good in 4K. Sounds
nice.
Really excellent. Yeah.
Now I have a question about 4K. I don't have it. Can you see a real big difference from 4K to Blu-ray?
Oh, yeah, certain movies, yes, but certain ones, not too much. Like, say, if you were to upgrade, like, say, Marvel movies to 4K, there's not a really big jump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's more of like a 2K quality with the DVD. I mean, not DVD, with the Blu-ray of, like, say, Marvel movies, and then they just digitally upscale it to the 4K, where it's a barely noticeable when it comes to color grading.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't have the greatest eyesight in the world, so it's like it doesn't. And plus, I'm colorblind, so it doesn't really. I don't, see a big difference, with certain.
Yeah, the problem.
Black and white films are good.
I think I talked to you before about it, Charlie, about the Marvel movies. They rendered all the special effects in 2K, so like it's basically impossible to render them up to actually without going back and completely redoing the special effects. Put them in 4K. So possibly the film elements could be upgraded. They might actually have the film elements that are filmed that could be 4K quality, but I think they probably all together, none of them look incredibly better.
Well, it's funny because when it comes to older films, and there's two movies that got the same treatment where they were scanned 8K, but then downscaled to 4K. And the movies were My Fair Lady, with Audrey Hepburn, and The 10 Commandments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They look amazing in 4K.
Yeah. Yeah, the oldest movies usually look really good, especially if they're like the old Technicolor and stuff like that. Even the black and white movies look incredible, but
Oh
the
yeah,
black and white movies you get usually a really good audio track, where sometimes the audio tracks were kind of crap back in the day, so they really do a good
they're
job
very
cleaning.
mono. Yeah,
Yeah, they do a good job cleaning that stuff up. This
Yeah,
is
definitely.
pretty good transfer. This is Land of the Pharaohs,
Oh, okay.
Howard Hawks.
Never seen that one. I don't think I even really know of it.
Yeah, Howard Hawks is a big director. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. It's just takes place in Egypt. Yeah, I picked this up. I had the regular version, but never had the unrated on Blu-ray. I don't know if that's a recent. Yeah, I had the when
I
they
have
first
the
released
DVD.
it.
I never had the. Yeah, I never had a Blu-ray.
When they first released it, I believe they just released the regular theatrical release, and this comes with both. So
I don't know how the hell that's even more unrated. It's pretty damn.
risque
Yeah.
as it is.
It
Yeah.
is like the puppet is plow driving the other marionette woman puppet.
well, like he pees on her, and then she poops on him. But
Wow.
yeah, I picked this up too. Sorry about the
nice.
glare, everybody.
Yeah, the East of Eden.
Yeah.
You gotta do a review on that one.
Yeah, I like. This is a good movie. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's a really good. So, yeah, we'll be checking that out here soon.
And then, of course, Alfred Hitchcock, another set that's coming out. That's like 3 sets now.
Yeah, that'll be the third one. I have the first one. I don't have the second one yet because I have them on. See that's why I asked, because it was like, is it worth the upgrade? Because I have them on DVD.
For older movies, I would say yes. For like stuff that's around that era and maybe 80s, early 90s, around there, those are good. But some of them can be a hit and miss. Don't get me wrong. And even some of the newer movies look like crap on 4K. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I see like all these, because I had done a video once about like upgrading, and I see like people. There's like one guy who gets like 6 different copies of the same movie each week when they come out, and I'm like, dude, you can only watch a movie once. Why are you buying 6 copies of it? You know, but that's the collector, and hey, if he has the money to do it, that's cool with me. You know.
Yeah.
But I just can't see you getting 6 of the same movies, because you're not really doing anything with it. You know, you're just it's a different variant. So.
Oh yeah. Well,
This is
What is that one?
Stanley Long's Adventures. They're like kind of like R-rated comedies.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, a lot of TNA in them, pretty much, but they're just little goofy, little campy sex comedies, I guess. But they're not pornos. They're just.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, I hadn't really either, and I seen this. I thought that sounds interesting. I might pick that up. It wasn't real expensive. I've only watched Adventures of a Taxi Driver. Yeah, it's just a taxi driver going around town. Pretty much him hooking up with different women and weird things happening to him. Like he gets kidnapped by these people, and it ends up as just a big prank. And they weren't really kidnapping him, and he thinks it is. But
well, my battery's at 10% now.
Blood Money.
Never heard of that one.
Spaghetti Westerns. This is an Arrow release.
Oh, damn. That's a big set.
Yeah. Yeah,
I should probably get going before my battery dies.
All right. Charlie, it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, man. Yeah. You're always welcome back, too. Remember that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. You guys have a good one.
Okay. Be safe.
See you.
All right.
I like those spaghetti westerns, John. That's a nice set.
Yeah, these are some more. They're kind of, at least the character's named Django in here, but it's not necessarily part of the Django trilogies.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's not. So, yeah, it's pretty nice. It's got slip cover comes off. It's just they're in clear cases.
Oh, that's nice.
Little booklet. I'd actually forgot I bought this, and and believe it or not, they somehow or another, I don't know how it happened, but they sent me 2 copies and charged me for the second copy, so I had to send it back.
Oh, okay.
It was like $60, so I wanted
Yeah, I wasn't
I
going.
wanted
I
my
wouldn't
money
eat
back
that
on
either.
that. And everybody, if you've seen my Instagram today out there, you guys probably seen this.
Yeah, I
Essentially more of
remember.
a Black
I
Emmanuel.
remember. I had talked to you about that. I remember seeing that. Now, are those all the movies or just the one?
I can't really show you the inner covers.
Yeah,
of
no,
this 'cause
I don't want you
yeah.
to. Because I remember they used to have
But
like.
it's this style. I can show that picture. I don't think it's got any nudity on
Oh,
it.
okay.
Not really. Yeah, it's all nudity inside the. Oh, and this was cool. Let me see. I can't really. It's got one of those one of those old.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Like the ViewMaster things.
Yeah, and all but like 1 or 2 pictures in there are nude shots. So
Oh.
I can't. I got to watch myself.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
she's a
anybody's
beautiful
seen anything.
woman. The girl that plays Emmanuel. I don't know if she. Do you know if she continues on? I haven't got to sit down and read the. Oh, make sure there's no
I
nudity on
think she
this.
was only in the first 2
Okay.
because she married somebody famous, and I can't remember who it was, but she she only did the two movies.
Yeah, I was. What's kind of weird is, not a lot of people didn't respond to it. Usually, I get several people who, like my posts on Instagram, and nobody. I don't know if people are afraid to block it because they might thought it was racist because it's called Black. Black Emmanuel. But what's funny about it, it's not the movies aren't racist, but at all. But what's funny, what is kind of weird though, is I don't know what her nationality is. I mean, I think she's American or she's French or something like that. But they actually in the movie, she kind of refers to herself as, or they want you to think she is black, but she's not black. She's not like African black. She's like Filipino or she's an Asian mix or some kind. But I'm not saying, I'm not trying to denigrate that. I mean, she's beautiful.
No.
I'm not trying to denigrate those as saying, well, you're not a colored person, but the way they refer to it in the movie is like it's almost like she's black, the way they're referencing it. And I was like, well, you're not black. If she was and black women are beautiful. I like black women,
Yeah.
And it's just, but she's freaking gorgeous.
Yes, she is. Let me check. I'm checking right now to see. Because
I didn't have time to look it up earlier. But while you're doing that, I'm gonna go through some of these. Yeah, I picked up this is the Renowned Westerns I showed earlier. This is Bud Bedecker working with Randolph Scott. Bud Bedecker was an excellent B movie director. He pretty much just made B movies, but they're just amazing. He just made amazing movies. He may have had 1 or 2 big movies, but for the most part, he was in the B movie system, but made like A quality movies. And I think, I've said that before. I believe that's what we're missing in Hollywood today, like real B movie units to train these to train all all aspects of production in the movie industry. I think we need people to learn how to be directors, how to be producers, how to be actors, how to be grips, how to be sound men, how to be cameramen, cinematographers. We need all that because we're lacking that these days.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, her name was Laura Gemser.
Writers. What is it?
Laura Gemser.
Yeah.
She was born in Indonesia. The guy that stars
Indonesian. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that stars in that movie with her, that's her husband in real life. That was her husband in real life.
Okay. I thought she was probably Southeast Asian or something like that.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's what she looks. Yeah. because Filipino women are really beautiful as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another one I picked up. I think a lot of people saw this. This is an Instagram post. This is Lady Snowblood.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Is that
Japanese movie. I didn't know a lot about it. It was pointed out to me, but this was supposedly there. I've watched a lot of the inspirations for, um, well, for Kill Bill, but a lot of the inspirations for. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm having a bad night. I'm having a brain fog kind of
No,
night.
you're all right.
But
Yeah, I think Ryan picked
Yeah.
that. Ryan picked that one up.
Yeah.
I think I seen him do that.
But this
too.
was the inspiration for Kill Bill, is what I was getting at.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was kind of Tarantino. Excuse me, I went blank on Quentin Tarantino's name, but I've watched a lot of his inspirations for different movies he's made and things he's taken from different movies, and somebody pointed me at that. I was like, I hadn't seen that one. I had to pick that up, so that was really cool.
That sounds an interesting one.
Yeah, I picked this up as well. The Pink Flamingos 4K, or no, it's just Blu-ray. It's just Blu-ray.
Yeah,
They call this
I
the-
remember renting that.
They call that the barf bag edition.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, see how it's in like a bag? It's supposed to be like the barf
Oh, I
bag.
didn't even. I swear I didn't notice it. I just seen the flamingo on there. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. It's a rough one. I like John Waters, but that one's a pretty rough one to get through. It's mainly not anything necessarily like people throwing up or nothing. I just don't like to see men's undercarriages in the movie too much. I'm talking about the
gotcha.
the brown eye, which was predominantly displayed several times in the movie. It's like that. Yeah, I could do without that, but that's John Waters,
Very interesting filmmaker.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jim Jarmusch. This is Mystery Train.
Oh, okay.
Blu-ray, yeah. Yeah, I was trying to see if this was anybody of any real. Steve Buscemi's in this, and the rest of it's a fairly Screaming Jay Hawkins is in it, but other than that, it's not anybody real recognizable. But I mean, he's mostly works in the indie side of things. Jim Jarmusch did. He cut a couple. Did he make that? Was that Jim Jarmusch that made the zombie movie that came out a while back? Am I thinking, is that the right director?
Let me look him up. I've heard of his name, but I don't think I've watched any of his
I'm
movies.
sorry. I'm going blank on everything. That's why I suck at YouTube.
Don't worry about it, man.
That's why I suck at YouTube.
You don't suck at YouTube.
I don't care.
He did Broken Flowers with with
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. The Dead Don't Die.
The Dead Don't Die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made that. I think he might be Philadelphia based, kind of. I don't know if he's
really?
Philadelphia based, but I think he might be. I think that's where that movie takes it, because it's somewhat of an homage to the Night of the Living Dead to some degree.
Oh,
I think it's supposed to be.
I'll have to check that out. I did not see that one.
I never did ask you about that, but M. Night Shyamalan, he's definitely a Philadelphia.
Oh yeah,
boy.
He's really big. He's at the Sixers games and the Eagles games and stuff. Yeah, he's really big. He gets a really bad rap. I think because he he did everything with Sixth Sense, and then it's sort of like Orson Welles. When you make Citizen Kane, you're just gonna, come back to earth after making that. So.
Right.
But I don't mind his movies. I really, really liked that Knock on the Cabin.
Was it good?
I thought it was very good. And I'm a big wrestling fan, as you can see from my shirt.
Yeah.
Batista, I was never a big Batista fan at wrestling, but man, that guy was really good in that movie. I think the last 4 movies. I like Stuber. If you ever seen Stuber, that was very good.
Did he make that?
He was it was with that Kumail Kunal somebody. He was the Uber.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Batista. You're talking about
Yeah,
Batista. Yeah,
Batista.
not. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
he did.
I don't. You know what? Seem I might have seen that. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know which movie you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, the Kunal guy, he's a Uber driver, and
Yeah.
Batista is a cop who just had his eyes dilated, so he can't drive. So he
Yeah.
has to hire an Uber driver to break this case. So that was good. I really liked him in My Spy. He did like a kind of like it was sort of like a pacifier kind of thing that Vin Diesel did with the little
Yeah.
girl and stuff. That
Yeah.
was good, and that's on Amazon Prime for free. And I like to Knock at the Cabin too. I don't buy movies. I got it off of eBay, and I watched it like 3 times, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I might need to check that one out. That sounds like a good one to pick up. That one, and I need to pick up Stuber as well. I can't remember if I saw that or not. I feel like I did, but I can't remember.
I think they're making a sequel to Stuber. I think. Don't hold me on that, but I
But
had heard that he was going to.
yeah, but Shyamalan, I liked. I liked The Sixth Sense. I liked Unbreakable. I liked
I
what was
like
the
Split.
Alien? Split was good. Yeah. And what's the movie?
The Happening? That
Yeah.
gets. I'm not a big Marky Mark fan, but I thought that was fun.
What was the Alien movie with Mel Gibson? What's that called?
Signs.
Signs. I like that too, but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like it. But I think it's just got such an eerie feeling to the movie. It's more the
And it's
feeling to the
kinda
movie.
slow.
Yeah, but it's got kind of this weird like build up to it. That's just like I just enjoy it. I don't know why. Sometimes I like movies that people don't like.
I like
Which
movies
is
that kind of make you think. You
Yeah.
know, you can be in a mood and you can watch. Like I like the Asylum movies. Like I think they're fun to watch. But it's
Yeah.
like you don't have to think about that. It's an
Yeah.
hour and a half, and you're going to have a good time with it. But I like thinking movies. Like every Hitchcock movie is a thinking man's movie.
Yeah.
Because there's so many parts moving.
Yeah.
In that. Especially when they have like the co-star,
Yeah.
in those movies, and it's like
Well, I love it. I love Hitchcock. I love thinking movies. I like David Lynch movies. I like complex movies.
Mhm.
But I like dumb movies too. I like the whole spectrum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
and
love.
it's like you got to be in a mood for like when I remember the first time I seen Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck was going on in that movie, but after you watched it a couple times, you kind of figured it out, But
Yeah, there's people that go on and on about his movies. Like Mulholland Drive's a big one, and
the
the
one
one
with
before that was
was it Wild at Heart with Nick Cage and Laura Dern?
well, that was before. That was one of his earlier movies.
Oh, okay.
But I'm talking about
Inland Empire.
no, I think that's about the last movie he made. I wasn't a big fan of Inland Empire.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't care
way
for
too
it
long.
either.
It's like 3 hours long and slow.
Yes.
And it keeps us kind of dragging. And I'll go through it in a minute. I'm trying to think about that one. Lost Highway. Excuse me.
Oh yeah. That was good, but that's
That was good.
also yeah.
Yeah. He always has weird things to happen. I've almost come to think. I've almost come to the conclusion that that his movies are not as complex as people try to make them out to be. I'm
Yeah.
thinking that maybe because he won't never talk about his movies, and I think the reason he don't talk about them and won't explain anything is there's nothing to explain. I think they're just made to be watched the way they are, and there's nothing behind the lens. I think they just. I've had better. I need to write it down, but I've had better thought processes on especially after watching Inland Empire. I just recently I had it on DVD, but I recently bought the Blu-ray and watched it again. I didn't really like it the first time, but I thought, well, I'll give it another try and watch it in better quality. And it was it's just slow, but it's got different elements, and it's really, the story's not that convoluted as he puts the movie together. If you can,
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point. I don't think he's actually intentionally making some kind of movie that you can't understand. I think he's trying to make you think he's making something complex, and I think that's in lies the whole thing about David Lynch's movies, you know. And I'm
Mhm.
probably dead wrong. There are probably tons of things going on, like Twin Peaks. So many theories about Twin Peaks, and you know, and it can be boiled down. I think it's just Twin Peaks is boiled down to it's simply the whole thing's a soap opera
Yeah.
because there's hints of it being a soap opera because they keep watching the soap opera and everything in the soap opera they're watching in the show is happening in the act. You know, everything happening on the soap opera is happening in the show. It's like paralleling what's happening in the show. So I think that's what's going on in Twin Peaks. The whole
Yeah,
thing's just a soap opera.
it's sort of like multi-universes,
Yeah,
you know, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah,
Because I seen one of my friends sent me a clip about Nolan explaining Memento,
yeah.
and it was just like I watched that clip about 3 or 4 times, and I still didn't know what the heck he was talking about. You know, during it, you
Well,
know,
well,
because he was
Memento's all shot in reverse. Well, it's all takes place in reverse. It starts at the end of the movie and works its way to the beginning.
right, and that's what he was saying because he was doing the timeline. I'll send the
Yeah.
link to you. Okay, he was
Okay.
doing a timeline, and then he said, "Okay, this one we're working in reverse. There's 4 different
Yeah.
parts for the reverse, and then there's 4 parts for the fast forward." He said, and then there's the conclusion, and he said, and then there's the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "What the heck did he just say?"
Yeah.
You know, and I watched it
Yeah.
like 4 times, and I still didn't understand what the hell he was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was talking about Jim Jarmusch earlier. He made like, excuse me,
Hmm.
I've got some had the burps there, and he made Dead Man. I think had Johnny Depp in it, which is a good movie. He's made a lot of stuff, and he made God, what's the name of that movie? He made a movie in the late '90s, early 2000s. It was called Coffee and Cigarettes. Was good, but it was
Oh
just basically a collection of scenes with different people. Like there's a scene with Mike White and Meg White in there, the White Stripes, where
hmm
they're fooling with a Tesla coil. For some reason, he has it on a wagon in this coffee shop. For some reason, he's dragging it around with him, a Tesla coil, and they're messing with it. And it's just people drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes to the movie, and it's kind of a strange one. But that's a
that was like
kind of a fun one. Yeah,
that was like that movie. Did you ever watch Smoke?
Smoke.
Yeah, it was
I don't.
1995, and it was just about a cigar shop in the corner
Oh
of
yes,
New
yes,
York.
yes. Like Harvey Keitel or something like that
Yeah,
in there.
Harvey.
Yeah,
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 Harvey Keitel. Yeah, and it's
yeah,
basically the guy goes and takes a picture of the smoke shop for every day for 365 days a year
yeah, yeah.
in the same spot. It was like really interesting, and it was just basically the people interacting with the customers that came in the smoke shop.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because that was kind of in the days when I was just getting into smoking cigars, and
Oh,
so
okay.
so I was like, it was kind of exciting seeing that.
Yeah,
That
I
was like
remember.
that was a big time for cigar smoking, so they kind of made the movie
Oh,
about it.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember because I was working at a video store at the time, and I remember that being like really like a very like hip kind of movie to watch, you know. And I took the screener copy home because I thought it was interesting, and it was just like, yeah, I put that as my like employee like kind of spotlight, you know.
yeah,
But I really thought it was a good good movie. I don't even think you can find it now to watch, you know.
yeah. I picked this up as well. I don't know if this will show up at all. Yeah, it showed up pretty good. Time
Oh
Bandits.
yeah, that's a
Th-
good one.
This is 4K. It's got a lenticular cover on it.
Yeah, you can see it, John.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
seen that in the movies when it came out.
that's
That was a
pretty
good
cool.
one.
That's one I haven't seen in theater for sure. There was a little bit before. Well, it wasn't before my time. I was born, but I was too young to obviously have seen something like that. But I did watch it. That's one of those movies that I grew up watching. Um, on like Showtime, and I would catch part of it in the morning before school, and then see the rest of it. So I've seen it in bits and pieces. So I've owned several copies of it as an adult on Blu-ray and
Oh, okay.
DVD, and now 4K. So that's one of those. There's a few movies I will rebuy. I don't do that a lot, but I do with certain things like the Big Lebowski's one, and like time, a few like some. There's a few movies I do that with. But it's kind of funny. Like the day I went to Barnes and Noble, I ran into this guy, and he was dressed like with long sleeves. It was a hot day outside. It was like a 90-degree day, and he was wearing a mask still, face mask. He was
Mhm.
wearing like a knitted hat, and he had like long sleeves. So I don't know if there was something. I don't care about the mask wearing. I think it's weird, but I don't. If you wear it, that's fine with you. But he might have had something wrong with him too. He may have had some kind of illness where he couldn't. So because he
Right.
was wearing literally like long sleeves, long pants, knitted hat on a 90-degree day. So
Oh yeah.
and he was the one with the whole basket full of movies, like literally one of those baskets, shopping baskets to the top.
Oh wow.
And and so I talked to him for like 30, 45 minutes, just stood there and we talked movies. It was really cool. He recommended some stuff and I recommended some things to him, and
That's good. You kind of miss
yeah,
that because with like the streaming, you're just by
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
I just miss going to the video store and actually talking to people about movies. That's what
yeah,
makes this so fun, because you got people
yeah,
talking about stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I love the long format of YouTube. That's why I don't even have a TikTok. I won't do TikTok.
Either do I. I don't even know what
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. And but also when I got to check out at the store, the girl checking me out, she's like, "Oh, I bought this because I'd watched it with my dad when I was a kid, and I wanted to see it
Hmm.
again." And I was like, and I thought I misheard her. I thought she said you bought it for her dad, so I was like, "Did you buy it for your? Did you buy it for your dad?" I bought it for myself, and and something brought up the conversations, and I started talking about Terry Gilliam. I was like, "Yeah, he was in Monty Python, and he did this movie." And she's like, "I've never really heard of those movies." I said, "You've probably seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas." She's like, "Oh yeah, with Johnny Depp. I think you've probably seen that movie. He did all those movies." And it was a pretty good conversation. I was like, he did 12 Monkeys, and she's like, so it was sometimes you strike up conversations,
Yeah.
uh, with people randomly. I think you see it more and more because people are so engaged into the phone culture that like people are not used to engaging people in public
Yeah.
anymore as much. People still do, obviously, but like you just don't have many interesting conversations when you go out.
Yeah, it's a shame because you miss that. I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully that we were born in that generation, where you have people. Because I remember spending like hours in the video store, like on Friday and Saturday, just like walking around talking to people, and it's like, oh, have you checked this one out? Oh no, you got to pick this one up, and it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's fun. That's why that was my
Yeah.
favorite job. I didn't work at the video store long, because it closed up because they were doing basically Movies Unlimited does sort of like how Amazon does, like you can order stuff on there. But that
Yeah.
was a huge video place because they had just basically stuff that you couldn't find at Blockbuster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure you collected a lot on VHS, like you were saying earlier. That's the
Yeah.
one format I didn't collect. For one, I didn't really start collecting till '98 when DVDs. That's when I got my first DVD player in '98, and that's really began my collecting. For some reason, I never had the desire to collect VHS. I don't know for what reason. I had probably a handful, maybe 20, but never. I was never avid. For one, where I grew up in a smaller town that I live now. I live in like a medium-sized town here, but like the town I grew up in, the video stores really didn't sell movies. They were just rented. They didn't really have any bins that sold used movies that I can remember. Maybe every now and then, but it was usually just copies of stuff I didn't really want anyway. So something they had like 20 copies of when it came out, you know,
Yeah.
like a
I
mainstream movie. So I didn't really get into collecting VHS I never collected VHS until probably the first thing I've ever bought on VHS was, Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Oh, okay.
And they had opened up a Suncoast video in the Lexington Mall, in the Fayette Mall, excuse me, which is in Lexington, Kentucky. They had opened up that store, and which sold VHS. So it's the first place it really, in my, being a younger person, that I remember them selling movies other than Walmart and a few other things. So I had a few here and there. I had the Monty Python movies, and I remember pre-ordering like Titanic when it came out. And I remember going to Blockbuster and picking that up. The night it picked up, people were lined up to pick up their pre-order copies of it. And like when I got up there, like I'd pre-ordered the full frame version, because that was before I'd got into movies and knew the difference. I knew that Letterbox existed, but I didn't really like it at the time because I didn't understand the concept of it, being the actual aspect ratio. Because I was, not super young at that point, but that's before I'd really got into movies hardcore. But I remember getting up to the cash register. I pre-ordered that, but they handed me the Letterbox version, and I was like, I just took it. I was like, screw it. I'll take this version of it. That's fine. Because I think it's one of those movies I'd thought back. I was like, why didn't I order that in Letterbox? And when I got up there, like they handed me the wrong one. I was like, well, I'll take this.
Yeah, that was like, because my mom, God love her, she watched the movies with us, okay, but she liked like the old like rom-coms, like the 60s, like the Doris Day, and stuff that she grew up watching, and I remember when we started watching, and me and my brother would go to like on Friday, Saturdays, that was like as soon as mom got home, we hit every video store. And in the mid 80s, you could go to, we had in Jersey, we had West Coast Video, Movie One, wall-to-wall video, Movies Unlimited. And a lot of the places, like even 7-Eleven was, you could go to 7-Eleven and rent movies, for 90, and right down the street, we had a Rite Aid that like 99 cents a night. Wow. And I just remember going, and they gave you a sheet and you had to circle it, and it was like, is 106 in? And it's like, no, you have to choose another. So we'd have like a list of like 30 movies going, because they only had one copy of everything, know? And then it would be like, oh, what's that person bringing back? So we're like checking it. It was like a whole thing.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun. You kind of smile now because I was watching on streaming. I think it was Max. They had 9 to 5, and I remember 3 weeks we couldn't get that movie to rent it. And it was like, oh, it's at your fingertips now.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Like I was telling you, the small town I grew up in, it was Irvine, Kentucky. It's Irvine in California. If you live in California, it's Irvine, but we call it Irvine here in Kentucky, the way we talk. But it's in Irvine. We had a friend of a family opened up like the first video store, and I think it was called Video Library. But everything in Irvine was independent. There was no Blockbuster, except for we had like restaurants and stuff. We had like Hardee's and Kentucky Fried Chicken, stuff like that. But we did, like, when the video stores were all like, they were no chain video stores. So, and then another one opened up later that was called Movies, Music, and More. And then there was a couple more that came later on. So, and then the newer ones that came later on were the ones that started renting multiple copies of movies. All the other ones, you had to wait to get something or put your name in a reserve list to get it. They call you up and you come rent it.
I remember those days too. Now, how many movies were you allowed to rent at one time? Because a lot of the places that we went to was 3, and that was fine because like my mom got one, my brother got one, and I got one. And then
I don't remember the limits because I probably only rented like one at a time. for the most part. I remember when I was probably a junior or senior in high school, my parents went out of I'd had to have been a junior because we moved my senior year. We moved to the town we're in now in Richmond, and but my parents went out of town for the weekend, and I remember I went and rented, for some reason at that time I hadn't seen Back to the Future in a
Oh,
long time, so I rented the whole trilogy and watched the whole trilogy. And that's the first time I'd ever done something like that, all on VHS, and probably rented more movies too. But I don't really remember the limit we had. I never rented movies in that big of a bulk, but yeah, it was. We had a there was another little hole in the wall rental store in that same town. That was in another little shopping center. It was like a hole in the wall. It was like a shotgun video store, just a little narrow corridor. It was little bitty, but it was stuffed full of movies, and they were like the people that ran it, like watched independent movies, I guess, or liked them because that's the first place. That's how I discovered like Clerks. That's where I discovered
Oh,
Clerks for
wow,
the first
okay.
time, and probably Mallrats as well, because it took me a couple of years to put together. They were both made by the same person, and then I finally figured it out. And because I wasn't in the know, I didn't follow like really the internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't follow there. I didn't follow any kind of publications. When you live in a big city, you'll have like bookstores and magazine shops and stuff that'll have indie press that covers stuff like that, or just in your mainstream newspapers will even have sections where the movies, and you'll actually have places that play independent movies. Like we don't have that here. We have the Kentucky Theater, which will play maybe one independent movie, but mostly, they've kind of got away from it a little bit so they can stay open, keep the doors open, because people just don't see it's just not a big enough market around here for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we used to. My mom worked in Center City, Philadelphia, and there was always a guy that sold like magazines and the newspapers out there.
Yeah.
And every week, I got her to get me Billboard magazine because I was like really big into music and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'd read it through, and then it's like they would always have like the new and upcoming movies that were coming or what was hot, and what was being released and stuff like that. So it was kind of like it was kind of cool back. It's a shame they don't have stuff like that now because everything's like you a touch of a button or something, like that. I do miss that aspect of just going to a place and holding it. That's why it's like I still collect, because I remember when I moved in here, the movers were like. My cousins were telling them like where to put the boxes, and the one guy goes, "Has this kid ever thought of a streaming service?"
Yeah.
And it's just like I still like to put it in the Blu-ray player and play a movie. It's it makes you feel good.
Well, with all the censorship and stuff going on too, that's already happened a few times. I think with Disney's the ones that's done, or maybe Disney.
French Connection.
Yep. Happened with something else too. There was another movie that they've
Adventures in
censored too.
Babysitting.
Yeah.
They cut the part where she says the F word. So it's like if you wanna see these movies intact, you got to physically get them.
Yeah. Yep, I definitely support physical media. I think it's going to be around for a while. I don't have. I got into it with what's his name? Serial at Midnight. That guy.
Oh yeah. Heath.
Heath. When I first started getting on YouTube, I started following him before I even have a channel, and I actually joined his Patreon.
Oh, okay.
And for a month or two, and I seen him a couple messages, just friendly back and forth for a couple messages. It wasn't much. I don't send a lot of messages like that, but I sent one, and he sent me like kind of a negative feed, something. I was talking about that, and he was like, physical media isn't dying. I was like, well, I've been collecting. I shot back like I've been collecting for 25 years. I'm not worried about it either. But he's kind of an asshole, and other people, more and more people that I talk to about it, like they're like, yeah, we had the same experience with him, and he's just not very pleasant on the personal level.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his, and I'm not a big fan of this guy. He has a huge following, and I just don't understand it. What's his name? Cinema Sickness,
Oh yeah,
Dave or something.
yeah. I know what you're
He
talking
has
about.
this cartoon voice, and it just he's like very fake, and I just don't like people like that.
Yeah, like I follow like one of his Instagram. I probably I don't follow his YouTube page anymore. I don't think maybe one of my YouTube accounts do, but not the low IQ don't. But I follow like Instagram, like on my original Instagram, my personal Instagram page follows it, and he has a ton of movies. But the thing was, he was on one of those. He was on that. Did you ever see that movie collection battle that 4K D-Ray was putting on for a while?
No,
He was doing these things where he would have creators on. I never was on there, but he would have
yeah, I seen the
different.
one with Marie and Joe. Those two were very nice people.
Yeah,
Martinez Joe and
I think we had them
Marie.
on, or I think we had them on a long time ago.
They're very nice people.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, and yeah, we definitely had them on because they showed us the trailer that Watcher Nate had made for them. They had one of those that
Movie quarters.
Tara Reid had made for them. It
Oh
was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's whatever that page you go to, and you basically pay them to make that to say
The
something.
cameos.
Cameo, yeah, yeah, and but but he was on that show one night, and he just didn't seem like he knew a lot about movies for having that gigantic collection. He didn't strike me as somebody that knew a lot about movies. He just seemed
Yeah,
like he just is simply. I say this a lot. I call people collectors, and they're just collectors, and they're not movie people. I'm a movie person. I've watched 99% of this. There's probably less than 0.5% of the movies I haven't watched in my collection, which amounts to probably 300 or 400 movies. But
right.
I have probably 4,600 movies.
Yeah, because that's like, 'cause my mom always used to say, "You keep on buying, but when do you watch them?" And then she sees me watching a movie, and she goes, "Oh, you do watch these?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I buy them. The whole point of
Yeah.
buying a movie is not to watch it,
Yeah.
not to just have it, and then you can talk
Yeah.
about it with people. It's an instant conversational piece. My mom
Yeah.
used to tell me I'm full of useless information.
Yeah.
So I just like that, but it's like with him, like that Cinema Sickness guy. I just think he does it for the attention to have it.
Yeah.
You know, like
He owns another reason he has such a big collection. He owns like a thrift store that he sells a
Oh,
lot of movies, so he's always buying stuff. So he's always finding a lot of good stuff. So that's part
gotcha.
of
I
the
didn't
reason
know
why.
that.
Yeah, he owns like a thrift store wherever he's from, and
I know
yeah.
he's from Pennsylvania. He's somewhere in Pennsylvania. I don't know,
But
but
I mean, I'm not saying the views on my videos are great. I mean, I usually get 100 or so, depending on the video. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But it's- but one day he posted a screenshot of like his YouTube page. It was like, I don't know if it's a subscribers count, but you could see the videos underneath of it where you could see the videos with the view count underneath it, like 2 or 3 videos underneath of them. And the
mhm.
views were like, and he's got like 20 or 30,000 people
Yeah,
that follow him. And his view count was like 30 views on like 3 different videos.
yeah, I don't, because I know there's some people that do this. They want to make this a living, for the YouTube,
Yeah.
and I just do it just to show off my collection and talk about movies and hopefully make good friends. Like you, I've met like a couple people like Y2K,
Yeah.
so Y2K bassist and his brother Horrorpunk, and Miranda. So I've met good friends from there, and like Joe and Marie also. So it's just like I think it's fun to talk about movies. You know?
Ye- Yeah, I was going to answer 808's physical media. Yeah,
Oh,
Charlie had to leave. He had a AA meeting he had to attend, so he had to leave a little bit early tonight. Thanks for stopping in, anyways. I know
yeah.
we're
He's
just
been
we're
gone
just
for like
bullshitting
20
about
minutes.
movies
Yeah.
tonight. We've been showing. This is the last of my Criterion
Oh,
I
okay.
picked up.
What's that?
It was
Servant.
called The
Servant.
Servant. Yeah, it's kind of I guess it's a film noirish movie. It was really good though. It's a British made.
Oh, okay. I like film
Yeah,
noir.
yeah, and it's about these. It starts out. It's about this rich guy, and this has a servant comes and works for him, and and there's something off about the servant from the beginning,
Oh,
and
okay.
like the servant, like the servant, like eventually he brings this woman to be the maid, and he says it's his sister, and so they're working for this rich guy, and eventually, like you kind of realize, next few scenes that the house, the butler guy, he's like sleeping with the maid, which is supposed to be his sister, but you find
Oh,
out it's not his sister in the end. But they're basically, it gets really crazy, and like they get caught having sex. He comes home, the rich guy comes home and catches them having sex, and the rich guy's been having sex with her too. She's been trying to play him too, and so
oh,
they're
okay.
they're playing. It's kind of they're trying to play him, I guess. So they both leave. So if a couple weeks, the movie kind of goes like a couple months later or something like that, and he's in a bar, and so the other guy shows up in the bar, and and he's like, yeah, she was basically just playing me too, and so he starts working for him again. But then it cuts to a couple months later again, and like they're both like basically broke, and they're both still living together, but he's not really acting like his servant anymore, and it's just d- divulges and it's crazy, and he's like basically giving him drugs and stuff, and that
Oh,
same
wow.
girl that's his sister comes back in, and like they're trying to have these orgies. It's strange. It's bizarre. It's like,
I'll definitely have to check that one out.
yes, it's really good. I'm sorry I'm not describing it very well. I've only
No,
watched
you're
it
doing
once,
perfect. You're selling me
and
on it.
yeah, and it's just a bizarre. It just turns out to be bizarre, like this dynamic between these two. Yeah, it's really
I watched
awesome.
this one movie. Now, are you into horror? Like horror?
Not
'Cause I just
hardcore,
started.
but
I just
little.
started getting into it like 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and I ordered Shutter, the streaming service Shutter,
yeah,
and I watched one movie on there, and I was telling my friends about it, and they really liked it too. It's called A Spoonful of Sugar.
yeah,
You can get it at the Walmart now for like $10, okay? And it's this rich couple that has sort of like an autistic son
yeah,
that hires this girl from school, okay, like a boarding school, and this
yeah,
girl is like nuts, like out of her mind. So what she does is the or she goes to psychiatrists and stuff like that, and she's screwing the uncle that she's like living with. Okay. So
yeah,
she goes and she lives with this couple, and what she's doing is she's putting little drops of LSD in the kids like water and stuff like that, and the kid all of a sudden starts talking and like
oh wow,
verbalizing and stuff like that. So she continues, and it's like this movie is so effed up. It's unbelievable. Like she
yeah.
starts like, and the kid's like 3, and she starts like trying to breastfeed him, and it's nuts. But it's a really good movie. Spoonful of Sugar, guys. If you haven't seen that, that's really good. It's on the Shutter, and it's on
I'm
Apple.
gonna have to check that out. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, dude,
Somebody
God,
was
it's good.
somebody was talking about another movie on Shudder other day that sounded good too. I was like, man, I'm not a massive horror fan, but I might have to get Shudder.
I just like it. Like I'm not like into like the big like horror like genre stuff, you know. But I
Yeah.
like the psychological thrillers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're really good. And that was like more up my speed. That was like a psychological thriller, you know.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have like different. The reason personally I got Shutter is I love Joe Bob Briggs,
Yeah.
The Last Drive-In.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, I do too. I remember what was the name of his
Monster
show?
Vision.
Monster Vision. Yes, I love
Yeah,
that.
so that's when
Yeah.
they were bringing that back. That's why I got Shutter. I've had it for 5 years now because of Joe Bob. So
Is
and
there a bunch of seasons of it on there?
oh yeah, you can watch every season. Every season has like about I think 14 movies each season, and this the last one was the 5th season that just ended.
Nice.
And they have really good because they also have like I had like a real crush on the girl Barbara Crampton.
Yeah.
She was on a soap opera that me and my grandmom used to watch, Guiding Light. I
Yeah.
didn't even know she was in horror movies until I seen her in Chopping Mall,
Okay.
and that's a fun one. And that's on there on Shutter. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know why. When I got kind of out of my high school years, I kind of got less into horror. I don't know why. I just kind of it just wasn't my thing. But I watch them from time to time. There's some good ones out there. I don't have any problem with it. I think it's a great medium. I think it's great
mhm.
because it's really a independent driven industry.
Yeah,
A lot of independent horror. I like trauma and stuff like that, which I don't know if you really call that horror, though, so to speak. It's more
that
gross
dude's
out.
odd. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because when we were teenagers, me and my brother, we used to rent like every like kung fu movie. Like
hmm
we didn't know we knew who Bruce Lee was from like the pictures, and stuff like that. But we were in this guy named Sho Kosugi that did like
yeah,
Faces of Fear and stuff like that. So we
yeah,
used to go to Rite Aid down the street from us. We'd ride our bikes. We'd rent every kung fu movie and like
yeah,
every horror movie that there was. Because when you're a teenager, you're kind of into that stuff. But like you're right, I kind of got out of it and I started watching. There was other stuff that I was like really interested in. Like there was like I love like psychological thrillers and dramas and action movies and stuff and
yeah,
comedy movies. So
yeah,
I kind of got away from the horror, but it was actually it's fun to get back into it at like an older
yeah.
age because you can appreciate it more. You know.
Yeah. I've thought about it, trying to give it another go a little loosely. I just think a lot of the mainstream movies I just was less interested in. I remember like Blair Witch Project. I like that movie when it came out.
Yeah.
It was an original. That was cool. But like the first scary movie, but that's not really a horror movie. It's a comedy. But
That's
at least
fun though.
at least the first one, I like that. First couple maybe, but they just started making too many of them. Like that's what's the new Mission Impossible. I think it's a great movie, but it's done fairly poorly in the
Oh,
theater.
really? Okay.
Yeah, just because I don't know if people it's like the 7th movie and people just have like
Tired of it?
sequel fatigue or something. And I don't really know because the rest of the series I like pretty much all of them. For the
Yeah.
most part, they're all pretty good. And it was kind of a shame, but also Sound of Freedom hurt it really bad because they didn't think Sound of Freedom was going to do what it did, and it really
Oh, okay.
it took a notch out of it.
I have
And
that
then
written down. I have to watch that one.
yeah, and then the next week Barbie and Oppenheimer come out basically, and
I
it
didn't.
basically just put it, or
I
maybe
didn't
2
like
weeks later.
Barbie.
I
I didn't
saw
like
it.
Barbie.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Oh,
I think kids will like it. That's what I kept on saying because I wrote in my review. I think kids will like it, and they're like, "Well, there's too many like dick jokes and stuff in there for like the kids and stuff." But what I meant by my review is it's so bright, it's so visual. I think it'll get like the 10, 13-year-old kids into watching that played with the Barbies. That's what I meant by it. Because when you're a kid, there's some stuff that just keeps on going there, that goes over your head.
Yeah.
When you're a kid watching it. But I think because it's
Well,
so
it wasn't
bright-
it was not it wasn't a kids movie for sure, because there was some
No.
adult subject matter in there too, but not a lot. And a lot of people kept calling it like intersectional feminism, all this bull crap, and it's definitely got a feminist. It's got a feminist message, but not intersectional feminism. But
I
there
think
there was some preachy stuff in it. But what I found, the problem I had with it was it's a little convoluted in the messaging. It contradicts itself a whole lot when it's given a message like America Ferrera, her speech she gives, where he said women can do this and then they can do this and that. She's going back and forth, almost contradicting herself in the speech.
Mhm.
So it's like, well, how can you call it She's it kind of doesn't. And I think there's more going on with the movie, which is probably too much going on for a Barbie movie. And but there's what you understand what is happening in the movie, don't you? At least when they're in Barbie land. I don't know if the going to the real world was added in, if there's original script where it all takes place in Barbie land, and there's basically like this war between the Kens and Barbie, kind of that kind of thing going on. And somebody came in and said, "Oh, we're going to keep that element, but we're going to stuff in the middle of this movie. She's going to go to the real world," because the real world stuff don't really make much sense. It's the one part that I can't wrap my head around, and like, how does this work into what I figured out so far? So what's happening at the beginning of the movie is it's like a little girl playing with Barbie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why there's like those lines, like, when Ken's like, "Can I kind of stay at your house and kind of stay in your bed?" And Barbie's like, "Why?" Because little kids don't know about sex. They don't understand this. They don't understand that concept. So that's why everything's like in the boys are separated at the beach, and the girls, they don't really interact. The Kens, that's why they're being treated the way they are. That's why the Ken doll doesn't have a home. He's like homeless because he don't have the Barbie house. That's why there's just, because Ken didn't have a house. Okay. But what happens when Ken goes back, it's like a little boy. It's like the little girl's absent from Barbie, her bedroom where her Barbies are, and the little boy goes in and starts playing with his toys and starts playing Barbie. And so now Ken's in charge, and that's why there's like a Hummer. That's why there's a car there that's not it's not a Barbie car.
Right.
It's like a Hummer. It's like the little boy taking over and playing with the Barbies. And then it's like at the end, it's like a struggle between both of them to take it back. And that's what's going on. That's what's happening in the movie. But it's so covered up with some of the other stuff going on that you don't really understand that. But that's a basic thing that's going on there. It's a boy and a little girl playing with Barbies. It's a little girl playing with her Barbies, and it's a little boy kind of rating her sister, his, like a big brother, a little brother rating the Barbie, the Barbie playing area, something like that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean,
But
what would you give it out of 5?
It altogether, it's not a great movie. I would probably give it a 5 or 6 out of 5, probably. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
not real high.
because like I would, after I got done watching it, I'm sitting here and it's just like, I think if they kind of made it into like a Clueless comedy,
Yeah,
I think it would have. It's made like $700 million. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not going to lose money. Okay, but I was just thinking, I think it would have been better if they turned it into like a Clueless comedy. With like
Yeah.
Barbie being like the Cher character, the Alicia Silverstone character.
Yeah.
That's how I because even when I watched Clueless, I kind of like was thinking that it's like, this is sort of like a Barbie and Ken kind of thing, dynamic, even with Mean
Yeah.
Girls too, you had
Right,
Skipper, Midge, and
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking in my head, and I'm just thinking to myself,
I think Alan was the best character in the movie.
yeah,
Michael Cera.
Michael.
Alan.
I just like how he kept on waving all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're right. I just I want to say it might have been a missed opportunity
But see,
for it.
that's the problem with it I have for me. It was successful because they see that's the problem. Like they got women to come out to the theaters
Yeah.
because that's what women want. They want to see women doing women things. In Pink, that's what women like. At least normal women. They like
Mhm.
that stuff. They play, or it's just they play with Barbies or whatever. But they made a woman. Women don't always want to see themselves out there being ass kicking women. You know, like being basically the male part,
Yeah.
playing the male kick ass. They want to go see men with their shirts off
Yeah. They want
in
to see
those. They
like
want to see
Magic Mike and stuff.
they want to see Stallones and Schwarzeneggers with their shirts off in those kind of movies. They don't want to see themselves in those movies playing a butch girl who's kicking every, a 90-pound woman kicking a 300-pound guy's ass, which would never happen. It's fun, and I like unrealistic movies sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, anime's unrealistic. You got a lot of girl heroines in those movies, in
Mhm.
those TV shows and stuff.
I thought Atomic
So,
Blonde was good too
yeah,
with Charlize.
but
Thought that was good.
but but what everybody wants, what they want, when the women though, they don't want like this butchy woman who's covered up. They want a girl with her tits bouncing and
Yeah.
still kicking ass. That's what men want.
Yeah.
Women want the guy with the shirt off, and you kind of got that in Barbie. You got the Pink, and you got Ryan. What is his
Gosling.
name? Gosling with his shirt off. The whole movie. So women got multiple things they wanted.
Mhm.
So of course they're going to come out. All the guys had their shirts off. So so there's a good reason why it's successful. Is it woke people saying? Is it? I didn't think it was a woke movie at all. Not really.
No, I didn't even know what woke was until I asked my niece. Because it's like I just go in with a mind that, like, I don't like. I used to sit and watch trailers and go, but they tell you too much with the trailers now. But
Yeah.
even with like the Disney, like I have a very bad problem with Disney these days because their movies have sucked.
Yeah.
And it's just like people just will buy it just because it's a Disney movie, And it's like, why did they need to make a remake of Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Like a live
Well,
action.
I don't necessarily care for some of the diversity they put in the movies. I don't mind that if it's a good movie, but they're making crap movies. That's the problem. It's crap on top of the diversity that's making it. Really giving the diversity a bad name in a
Yeah, and it's just like I have a problem with like Beauty and the Beast when they came out with the remake. The one character was a gay guy.
yeah.
The Josh
Yeah.
Gad character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. But it was like, why did you have to add that into that and make it like that? And it was like sort of like the Harry Potter, the big guy in Harry Potter. They said was a gay guy. It's
Yeah,
just
if they're going to have these ratings for movies like PG and G and PG and G shouldn't have any sexual content at all.
no,
If it's for a children, for not straight sex, not gay sex, not trans sex,
No.
nothing. It should have no sexual messaging in it at all. When you get into PG-13 movies for young adults that are learning about that stuff, that's a different story.
yeah.
When they get into their teenage years, that's fine.
But it's like you don't need that. That's why it was like
Yeah.
back in like when I grew up, it was like all the Disney movies, you didn't have to worry about that stuff because they didn't even approach that subject in the
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
And it was just like, because I remember saying to my mom, it's like, where do these people go to the bathroom? Where do they,
Yeah.
where do these people sleep? Because you didn't see it,
Yeah.
So it's just like I just have a problem, and it's like they always have to introduce like an African American character, or that's why it's like in these on these commercials today, it just drives me crazy. It's like you watch every commercial out there, you have to have as what is it, the spectrum of the rainbow. You have a white
Yeah.
person, black person, Oriental person, and a Spanish person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and even the
Well,
commercials today are like mixed race families. It's like you're just selling tuna fish. You know,
I don't
everybody.
know if I don't know if that's called the Bechtel test or I don't know what's going on with my computer. It keeps like the monitors keep going into sleep mode for some reason.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
But
maybe you have to touch your cursor or something like that.
well, it must be. I must not be moving it around enough. But um, I don't know if that's the Bechtel test. Somebody might be able to correct me in the. But it's like this basically this memos that went around Hollywood saying you have to have all this stuff in your movies now.
Wow.
And that's why like you see and it's like a requirement, just like the Oscars. That's why I made that comment earlier about the Oscars. Like they like it has to, a movie has to have, and it's not just the people on screen. It's the people behind this. They have to include like you got to hire so many percentage of so many certain race, handicapped people got to be hired to be on your movies, like stuff like that. And I have nothing against handicapped people, but
No,
you
but
know,
being one, it's like, what the hell are we going to do
I
on a
guess.
movie set?
Well, I
Just
mean, I
sit
guess
there?
a handicapped person could be a good Steadicam operator. You could have a person pushing him, and in a
In
wheelchair.
your wheelchair, just
Yeah,
put the camera on
yeah.
there.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just silly. It's like I
yeah,
lost all like love because I used to Oscar night was like a big night, in my house. We would sit and watch it and had a pen and we
yeah.
bet on who was going to win and stuff like that. But after the fiasco with Shakespeare in Love beating Saving Private Ryan, I didn't care who the hell was nominated. I didn't, I always
Yeah,
watch the nominations, but there's
yeah.
no movies that I would like to see. It was like I said about Nolan. How did it Dark Knight and he get nominated for a director for that year? Because it was kind of overshadowed basically by Heath Ledger as the Joker. And I'm like, dude, somebody has to direct them.
If you really truly wanted to have a real, I mean, the Oscars started out as just tiny ceremonies where it was just kind of,
Yeah.
it was really just a very interpersonal kind of thing that they did in Hollywood. It just was a very small banquet they did, and it grew into something that really probably shouldn't have become. Should just been something you kind of give some awards out to some of people within the industry and like it how it was. It wasn't a big deal, and but how it should be done, it should be voted on by the public.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the categories are picked a certain way. The people, maybe the movies, or maybe even the movies. But because maybe the movies in the different categories are picked throughout for picked by maybe the Academy, but the voting has to be done publicly and by the public.
That's a great idea because they could have just one for like I always read like every year in Hollywood Reporter. I think it's Hollywood Reporter. They always have like the secret like this one reporter talk to a producer, and he goes through every category and picks who he voted for. I wouldn't mind doing that sort of like I think that's why it was so great in the 90s and the 80s when MTV came up with their awards.
Yeah,
Because it was actually people that watched those movies,
yeah. It
There
was
was-
audience voting, wasn't it? They did have
Yeah.
audience voting for those awards. Yeah.
I mean, how
Yeah.
many people out there watched any because that was another thing. They used to have in Cherry Hill, they used to have a move like you could watch all 6 movies that were nominated. It was only 6 at the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could have like a whole weekend. You buy, I think our tickets were $50 and it was unlimited popcorn, treats, and, sodas for the 2 days.
Yeah.
So we went, and that was the year that Lord of the Rings was nominated.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Yeah.
So it was like, okay, that was a 3-hour movie. And like my buddy's wife, fiance at the time, she was like, "Oh, I'm tapping out." So it was like, and they weren't even like the reclining seats like they have now in the movie theater. It was just like the chairs, and you'd
Yeah.
see like people like snoring in the movies, like watching stuff. and that was so much fun going to see those, But I mean, how many people out there watch Triangle of Sadness?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
on the what's that? Mind you, this movie, All on the Western Front, I
Yeah.
think that was nominated. That's a great movie. It was on the
Yeah.
Netflix. I watched it.
Yeah.
But Triangle of Sadness, I couldn't get into it. I watched 45 minutes and I shut it off. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And that was
Sometimes you're like,
nominated for Best Picture.
and I like how all those movies just come out right at the end of the year. They don't put them out.
Yeah.
They put them out just right before they're going to be nominated. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I like indie movies too. You're probably the same way. You probably like some indie movies, but some are just unwatchable as well.
yeah, I mean, there was one, the one year, and I thought it was the best movie. I think it was 2019. Peanut Butter Solution
Oh yeah,
with Shia LaBeouf and
yeah,
the Down syndrome that played his brother. That movie totally blew me away, and I was like, oh, because I remember taking it home. I remember I bought it at Walmart, and I took it home, and I said, "Mom, we're gonna watch this," and we were both in tears,
yeah,
watching it. And it's like, how the hell wasn't that kid nominated for an Academy Award or
yeah,
not? The picture didn't even get nominated.
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. Well, it's don't they have to submit their movies to be nominated?
Yeah,
They have to. They
I think they did, but I think it was the whole thing with LaBeouf. People don't like the Shia LaBeouf kid.
yeah, and it's
But
like you were talking about earlier. It was all politics, They
yeah,
they had to do, like, the studio has to campaign for those movies to get nominated as well.
yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works, but that's why I've always been told that they basically had to campaign for their movies to be nominated, and so it's all just it's money under the table when it comes down to it.
Yeah, well, I think it was. I want to say it was '98. That was because when the whole Miramax stuff came out, I think Weinstein was paying for people's votes for Shakespeare in Love. I think there was a book about that. I'm not sure.
I would like to be a member of the Academy, though. Like I don't know how if you can become this. I guess I don't know if you have to be. I don't think you have to be an actor even. I don't know how you do it, but whenever it's like you get free screeners at
Oh, I'd love to get that. It's
yeah,
like
like
some of these YouTubers. I don't know how they get like these like screeners for like I seen Stephanie. She's a great girl. Movie chatter,
yeah,
Stephanie, and she works with like these studios like Paramount, and and she's always showing them off on Instagram and stuff like that. And I'm like really jealous of her. I'm
yeah,
fortunate because I've gotten a I worked with like a couple companies doing like independent horror screeners.
yeah,
So, and they come on my computer and I get them,
yeah,
and a lot of them are hit or miss. I've gotten a couple that were very good, but a lot of them are misses.
yeah,
But it's enjoyable to watch it. I just like movies because you never know what you're going to get.
exactly. Well, man, we're running over 2 hours here. I'm about
Oh,
ready to
okay.
get
I'm
off here,
sorry.
and no,
I've
that's
enjoyed the
fine.
conversation,
No,
John. Thank
I
you.
have too. Yeah, we'll definitely. I might have you. Me and Mike's been talking. Mike's Blu-rays and DVDs. Mike.
Yes.
I do that other podcast with him sometimes. We haven't been doing it at all this year, so we've been talking about doing another one, and we've been wanting to have guests. So I might have you come on because you're really fun to talk to. So we might have you come on there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've enjoyed this, and I enjoy Charlie too.
I'll uh, I'll get in touch with. We'll have you on here again sometime soon. You never know who we're
Awesome.
having on here. Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll get in touch with you too. Sometimes we like to have like big panels for if we go see like a big movie that's come out, we'll try to have a panel, and if you saw that, you can join in.
Oh, okay, great.
Also. Yeah, definitely.
Thank
So
you for having me. I appreciate you. Thank
so
you.
where all can we reach you at? Where's your
I
sites
am
at?
at Kenny's Movie Palace on the YouTube, and on Instagram it's Kenny Jones 19.
Okay.
19 is
Excellent.
for Tony Gwynn. He was my favorite baseball player.
Awesome.
So Yeah, so look me
Yes.
up on the Instagram, and it's been fun talking to you, John. I've always
Yeah.
talked to you, on the Instagram and stuff. So it's nice live talking to you. So
Yes, you too. I had a great time. Good conversation all night.
yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me.
Well, thank you everybody for stopping by and leaving your questions. I wish you guys had interacted a little more. We've had a few people on and off, but I appreciate everybody stopping by anyway and watching us talk about movies. It's always nice. So I'll see you
Yes.
the next time. And for the next Cult of Collectors, I'm Milwaukee Media, and this was Kenny.
Take
We'll
care,
talk to you
everybody.
later.
Bye bye.